It is no secret that Tudor is my favorite brand when it comes to watches, and in fact, it might be my favorite brand when it comes to everything of all time. I know that's a crazy statement to make, but if we think about the brands that we like, it could be watches. A lot of people like Rolex, Patek, AP, Seiko's, Breitling's, Panerais. A lot of different things that you can have a irrational attraction towards. Or you can generalize it out to something else like cars, for example. Your BMWs, your Mercedes, Hondas, whatever it is, or like a car holder, right? YSL. You have your pens, Mont Blanc. Like we all like very different things, and I spent a bit of time over the past couple of weeks trying to think about why. Like, why do I like the brand Tudor so much? Like it's something about Tudor. Like I have 3 Tudors right now. I have the Hydronaut, I have the Black Bay 58 quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing the Black Bay 58 today. It's a bit over 2 years that I've had this watch for. It's still my favorite watch in my collection, just how versatile it is. This is for another video, but I've got the Tudor Prince Chrono, the 79260. And if it wasn't for the fact that I already have 3 Tudors in my collection, oh boy, I would be adding the Pelagos FXD, the black dial. I would add that to my collection. I would go out today, I'd text my rep, be like, yo, reserve one for me. But I can't do that because I already have 3 Tudors. I hope that gives you a little bit of a window to how obsessive I am over this brand. And of course, I love the Ranger. I think the Ranger on that olive NATO with the little red detailing in the middle is just so gorgeous. I want to spend a little bit of time today to try to rationalize why do I like Tudor watches so much? And to me, it's an amalgamation of a lot of different factors, but I think the top 2 reasons can be pinpointed towards their product offerings and also their history. You can't really have one without the other as far as Tudor goes. Tudor has an amazing range of product offerings, but without its history, there wouldn't be the Black Bay or the Submariner if we go a bit further back, or the Black Bay Chrono without the 79260 Prince Chrono or the Oyster Date Big Block. If they didn't have that tie-in with Rolex, being Rolex's little sibling, also started with Hans Wilsdorf. So if we try to separate these 2 things, I would say, first of all, the product offering side of things. I think Tudor watches, they are interesting, but they're also inoffensive in a way where it's like you can like a watch, you can have a subtle appreciation for its designs, but you wouldn't get to a point in the ownership experience where like 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the line where you're just like, all right, this watch, it was cool, but I want to try something else out. Like that want, that desire to try something new. And that desire, to me, it just doesn't really come for Tudor. Like, definitely, let's take this Black Bay 58 for example. I have gone through periods where I'm just so tired of wearing it. Like I would wear it for months, and I would be like, okay, well, I wish I could have a dive watch, right? I still want that dive watch silhouette, but hopefully it wouldn't be neo vintage. It wouldn't have full patina on it. Maybe it's just like a white indices. And I'm pretty much describing the Black Bay Monochrome 41 here, but I will have those thoughts for sure. Although those thoughts for me has never graduated to a point where I want to sell my Tudor out to get something new back in. I feel like there's really that magic with Tudor and also Rolex's design language, where if you look at the equivalent counterparts, say the Black Bay 58 for example, in the same price range in the market, you might be looking at Breitling's divers, you might be looking at the Omega Seamaster 300, the Professional 300. I don't know if there's a difference between the 2, but I know there's 2 distinctly different models and they're all called the Seamaster. You can look at like Tag Heuers or the Longines, although that might be going down market a little bit, but really that's like the sweet spot. Like that's like your $4,000 to $6,000 range Canadian when it comes to dive watches in that price range. And when you look at that comparison of watches, personally for me, the Black Bay range, the design language of them, whether it's the current lineup for these brands or if we're gonna visit a little bit into the neo vintage range, I just feel like the selection of watches in this price range, in this category, Tudor just has the most exciting but also timeless design language for me. Something about the magic of their design, like you can go as dull and boring as the Black Bay 58. I'm sure so many of us are just so tired of seeing on Instagram, or you can go to such, unconventional territories of like the Hydronaut, for example. And something about them just makes me want to wake up in the morning, pick the watch up, wind it, set the date, and put it on and start my day. I don't know, just something about their design language is just so timeless for me. I want to talk a little bit about price. So when it comes to pricing, Of course, I can go down into the Seiko categories or maybe level up into the normals, Mont Blanc, and then, Tech Warrior, Longines, and then slowly inch into the Tudor. Or if I want to go above that into like the Grand Seiko, $8,000, $9,000, or Rolexes 10 to 15K. Well, obviously you can go way beyond that when it comes to Rolex. But I think for me personally, my age, where I currently am with life, I feel like that $4,000 to $6,000 range watch is really that sweet spot for me. Sometimes I take the public transit to go to work or to go downtown on the weekend with friends. Other times I might be walking in a part of Vancouver that I don't necessarily feel the most safe in. And that's not really to say that you shouldn't come to visit Vancouver. You definitely should if you haven't been here before. We've got some amazing steakhouses, some ramen joints, sushi bars, omakases, all that sort of stuff, coffee stores. But some areas you probably wouldn't want to walk around on foot with your Submariner alone, right? It's just common sense for most places. And so for me, I feel like that $4,000 to $6,000 range is the range that I'm comfortable doing that. Your watch isn't overly loud or obnoxious, and it's not as easily identified by people who could have not as pure intentions in their head. I feel like that's the sweet spot for price range for me. I know that as I get older, that might change. For me right now and for the next couple of years, maybe 4 or 5 or 6, I could look back at this video and think how stupid I was, but I just feel like Tudor is that perfect brand for me in the price range, that $4,000 to $6,000 price range right now. We've got the design out of the way, we've got its cost out of the way. Now I want to talk about its history, what that means for the brand, and also the brand's positioning. As many of you guys might know, Tudor was founded by Hans Wilsdorf in the year, I'll put the number in this corner or this corner, I'm not sure which corner, but Tudor was founded a long time ago by the founder Hans Wilsdorf, who also founded Rolex. And ever since its founding, Tudor was positioned to be that little brother to Rolex, which is the more aspirational, the more luxurious brand. Tudor was meant for the layman, people who were in the military, people who were everyday trades, 10 toes on the ground. And its positioning has never really deviated from that. Now, I know in Tudor's current catalog, there's that Black Bay 58 in solid 18 karat gold with the cool green dial. Such a cool watch, by the way. But that's an outlier, right? Tudor has always been to be this working man's tool watch, what Rolex used to be. And I think this positioning really works great for Tudor, because now instead of going straight to Rolex and buying a watch that screams, I made it, I'm a pinnacle of society, I know what I'm doing, I'm exactly where I want to be in my life, and first and foremost, I am rich. You have a watch that's just a good watch, a decent watch, and that's really it, right? You're not trying to be something that is above other people. You're not trying to be a watch that sticks out amongst the crowd. You're just part of that crowd, a very solid crowd at that. That's something that I really resonate with the brand, right? Because going back to positioning, going back to watch prices, I don't want to be, nor am I at a point in my life where I feel like I am the special snowflake of the bunch. I'm not calling Rolex owners special snowflakes. You guys get what I mean. But I just feel like Tudor is the brand that I am comfortable at the moment, and I think that might be why they're doing so well in the recent years since they came back to the North American market. Because they have shifted their marketing message to market towards guys like me. Well, I don't know if they're marketing towards, because they've got some questionable sponsorships and marketing videos in the past, but for some reason they somehow appeal to demographics like myself, and I think that's why they do so well for people who may have just begun our professional careers a couple years ago, still relatively new, and is also capable, comfortable in putting this amount of dough on the table for a mechanical watch, but not quite there at the Rolex tier at the $8,000-$9,000, 10 or above range yet. Also at the same time, branding wise, I think the beauty of Tudor, they have history. They have very rich history, from the French Navy, the Marine Nationale, to all the different seals and water related, duty driven things that they've sponsored. And then looking more towards recently, where they've been sponsoring a lot of biking, the Allegheny, I'm probably butchering how this is supposed to be pronounced, but a lot of sports teams, right? It definitely has a very legitimate history, but also it is sort of safeguarded by Rolex in the sense that this twin sibling brand relationship is too big to fail, but it's also, Rolex is so overpowering that Tudor's never going to inch itself up to that Rolex territory. Well, unless some people think that Rolex is trying to be the next Patek and Tudor wants to take his place. I don't think that's really the case. I just think everything is getting more expensive and Rolex is just trying to capture more of that luxury buyer. I just think that Tudor is in that perfect position where it's safeguarded by its older, bigger brother, but also it's got such a rich heritage in the family, in that Hans Wilsdorf family, that it's just too big to fail. And that's why I see the beauty in the Tudor brand so much. It's like you're buying into a brand, you're buying into a piece of horological history. That sounded so cliche. That it's both too big to fail, but also it is small enough, it is humble enough for you to be comfortable in the watch that you're wearing, even though you're in your 20s or your 30s or whatever you are, right? It's about a mental state, it's about where you are in life. And for me personally, being in my 20s, I just feel like Tudor is that perfect brand that I can resonate with, that I can feel comfortable rocking every day, going everywhere. I can either strap it on, look at it, wind it, admire it for like 10-15 minutes on end, or I could just put it on and not think about it at all. And to me, that's the definition of a perfect watch. It's low maintenance when you need it to be, but whenever you want to take a deeper look at the watch, at its history, at Tudor's current lineup, there's so many things for you to discover and so many things for you to appreciate. I think that pretty much summarizes why I like the Tudor brand so much. I know this has probably been just like a bunch of gibberish, crazy watch talk to a lot of you guys, especially if you're just new to watches. I hope this didn't scare you away. Not all of us Tudor fanboys are drinking the Kool-Aid like I am today. But let me know what you think. Maybe some of you feel this way as well. Maybe some of you have a different reason why you like Tudor, or if you are fascinated about a specific brand of watches, do please let me know in the comment and let me know why you like that brand so much. Maybe it's a similar thing for me, but maybe your price point is a little bit higher or for a different reason. Please let me know. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Nice one, Odd Pal. Great vid.